Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to officially call this meeting of the Mayor and Council in order. I would ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silent prayer and or reflection as we think about the country of India and all that is going on with the COVID. Also, the recent shootings in Colorado. And yesterday marked the first day of Police Week. So our thoughts and prayers are with police officers all over the country. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have an advance notice of and attend any meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with this act, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of New Milford have caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Borough Hall, and notices have been sent to the Record and the Ridgewood News. The mission of this governing body is to provide essential services through the establishment and implementation of public policy that will safeguard the infrastructure, provide fair, honest, courteous, and professional services, establish a sense of trust and accomplishment between all residents, and through research and prudent planning seek to minimize risk while improving our services. We are sensitive to the needs and satisfaction of our taxpayers, while realizing that this governing body cannot be all things to all people within the revenue constraints imposed by state mandates, economic conditions, and prevailing attitudes about taxation. Being that this meeting is being held virtually, I need to read the following. All participants are muted during this meeting. Anyone wishing to make comments or ask questions can do so at such time as the meeting is open to the public for comment and during public hearings on any ordinances by hitting the button to raise your hand or by typing a message in the chat box. You'll need to state your name and address for the record. Members of the public may also submit written comments for any future remote meetings by either email to cdemiris@newmilfordborough.com or a written letter to the borough clerk. Written comments must be received by 4 p.m. on the day of the remote meeting in order to be read into the record during the meeting. Members of the public commenting during a remote meeting shall not act in any manner to disrupt the meeting. If anyone becomes disruptive during the meeting, they'll be muted. If time permits, the disruptive individual shall be allowed to speak after all other members of the public are provided an opportunity to comment. Any continued disruption may result in the member being prevented from speaking during the remainder of this meeting. Disruptive conduct includes, but is not limited to, shouting, interruption, and the use of profanity. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Hurley.
She will not be attending tonight.
Councilman Seymour.
Present.
Councilwoman Duffie.
Here.
Councilman Grotsky.
Here.
Councilwoman Sandhusen.
Present.
Council President Grant.
Here.
Mayor Putrino.
Here. Okay. Under unfinished business, may I get a motion for the approval of the minutes from the April 26th, 2021 public and closed session meetings?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item number 1 in the unfinished business, we have adopt ordinance 2021:8. And when the clerk has a moment, I would ask her to please read the ordinance.
Yes. Capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $25,000 for the construction of an ADA walkway at Prospect Park in, by, and for the Borough of New Milford in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a federal grant and from the Open Space Trust Fund of the borough.
Yes, this ordinance is to appropriate $8,840 in community development funds with the balance from the Milford Open Space Fund for a total of $25,000. This will install accessible walkway ramps at Prospect Park. May I get a motion to open to the public for a hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if anyone has any comments on this ordinance, now would be your opportunity to address.
I don't see any member of the public that wishes to speak on this ordinance at this time.
May I get a motion to
Motion to close to
on
the
this
public.
ordinance?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
So moved.
Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilman Seymour,
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffie,
Yes.
Councilman Grotsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandhusen,
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Okay. We have another ordinance up for adoption. This would be 2021:09. And when the clerk has a moment, I would ask her to please read the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 13 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled Fire Prevention, thereby amending subsection 13-1.8 entitled Additional Required Inspections and Fees.
Yes, this ordinance was to update the inspection fees that were last updated in 1992. And if you remember at the last meeting, resident Sean McEwen actually contacted me and he won the prize. I was a junior in high school, so he wins a I Love New Milford keychain and a $5 gift card to Dunkin' Donuts. So may I get a motion to open this ordinance to the public?
Motion.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if you have any comments or questions on this ordinance, now is your opportunity.
No member of the public indicated that they wish to speak, Mayor.
Motion
get a
to
motion to
close to the
close to the
public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I get a motion to adopt this ordinance on its final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Seymour,
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffie,
Yes.
Councilman Grotsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandhusen,
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on in new business, we have, I see it as an appointment on the list. Someone like to make a motion to appoint Cynthia Foster?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Well, congratulations, Cynthia Foster, for her appointment to the Shade Tree Commission as alternate number 2. And thank you for your continued volunteerism and dedication to our community. Moving on, we have a public hearing on the Bergen County Trust Fund grant application for lighting at Sutton Place Tennis Courts.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The project name is the Sutton Place Tennis Courts Improvement Project, and the total project cost is $165,000. We're requesting a grant of $82,500 from Bergen County Open Space Municipal Park Improvement Program, which provides grant funding for the development and redevelopment of municipal parkland to increase or improve outdoor active and passive recreational activities. The Borough of New Milford is requesting funding from Bergen County Open Space for the Sutton Place Tennis Courts Lighting Project. The completion of this project will provide residents with upgraded amenities at the Sutton Place Tennis Courts, thereby encouraging additional recreational activities to take place as the site will be accessible for longer hours into the evening. As a requirement of the application, we were to schedule this hearing. The hearing's been advertised, and we need to open to the public for any questions that they may have.
Motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen of the public, if you have any questions or comments on lights at Sutton Place Tennis Courts, now is your opportunity.
No member of the public has indicated that they wish to speak.
May I get a motion to close to the public?
Motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think this is going to be a great project. Tennis has gotten very popular, and this extends the hours, and we do have tennis courts behind Kennedy Field behind Borough Hall, and tennis courts on the northern end of town across the street from the Gibbs School. Both are on the same key system, so if anybody's looking to participate, please go to contact the Borough Hall Clerk's office, and you can get a key for the tennis courts. I believe the fee is it
10.
$10 for a key.
Yeah.
Unlimited access for $10. So it's a good deal.
That is a great deal.
But only for tennis.
Yes.
Yes, for now, only for tennis.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's a lifelong sport, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just no skateboarding on the tennis courts. Yeah.
Lay off the skateboarders.
Mayor.
Okay. We need to, let's see, we have an introduction of ordinance 2021:10. And when the clerk has a moment, I would ask you to please read it.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 30 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled Land Use Regulations, thereby amending subsection 30-28.9 entitled Parking of Commercial, Other Vehicles, and Boats in Residential Districts.
Okay, this ordinance has to do with including all residential zones to restrict parking of commercial vehicles and to codify the section on boats, which was not properly adopted when the ordinance was originally done.
Mayor, I'd like to amend the ordinance. It's a little confusing as it reads, so that it would say boats would be allowed not in the front yard with the exception of the front driveway.
I don't find that to be clearer. How would that be clearer?
Well, because before the front driveway and the yard might be confused. I mean, there's not necessarily a delineation or a yard is wider than a driveway. There are restrictions on how wide a driveway can be, but some yards are paved over beyond the driveway. So this way it would keep the boat in the driveway so that they couldn't be parked, in front of the house.
But there are many driveways in New Milford that aren't in front of the house.
The driveways are in front, but the
Right.
yard is in front. We're trying to make a distinction between the driveway and the front yard.
We are permitting it on a driveway.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, perhaps Mr. Kelly could read the entire sentence. That would be clearer. I don't have the text in front of me, not the complete text.
You're muted, Kevin.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, the sentence in question currently says boats shall be parked on a gravel or paved surface and cannot be parked in the front yard. So if your driveway is in the front yard, which is a bigger definition, you can't park a boat if you have it. My suggestion, if you are not concerned about boats being parked in the front yard, but only about being parked on a driveway, is we simply amend to reflect parking of boats shall be parked or shall be limited to gravel or paved surfaces. Or even simpler, boats shall only be parked on gravel or paved surfaces.
But that doesn't limit it to driveways or to areas on the side or back of the house. It could conceivably be the entire front yard.
Well,
If it's
what
paved
is
over.
the pleasure of the governing body in terms of where do you expect the boats to be parked?
Well, I thought at our last meeting, we talked about not wanting boats parked in a front yard.
Right, we did.
So that's why I
driveways were
proposed the
okay.
amendment to kind of just make a distinction between a driveway and a front yard. Even if a front yard is paved over, it's not a driveway.
So if I have a boat and I want to park it on my driveway, which happens to be in the front yard, I would not be permitted?
You would be.
If it's a driveway, yes.
Okay. And if I have a boat and I want to park it in my rear yard, not on a driveway, just leave it in my backyard.
We never talked about the backyard.
That
the rear
shouldn't,
yard.
is that,
Only if they have
If
gravel,
it's graveled.
right?
If
so we're
it's
gonna
got
limit it,
gravel.
okay.
Right. Side yards and backyards, if it's graveled. Some people have driveways also on the side of their house, so that would be okay as well, because it's a driveway. I
Right.
think the intent from the last meeting was obviously nobody wants boats parked on lawns in front of houses.
Right.
Even
a
if those
driveway-
lawns,
I mean, most homes do not have driveways that cover the entire surface of their front yard.
Correct.
So
That's true.
I think, it's reasonable to say that, yeah, you can be allowed to park a boat on your driveway if the driveway, encroaches on the front of your house, because it's not the lawn. Like my driveway, it's technically in the front of my house.
right,
not
but
on
it's
the lawn,
clearly,
right.
it's clearly a driveway and there is an
Clearly a
ordinance.
curb cut official driveway, correct.
Exactly. So we're saying that that's where the boat has to be. It cannot be
Yes.
in the other part of a front yard, whether that yard is paved or grass.
Same as a car.
May I make a
Right.
suggestion based upon what I've just heard? So you have your first sentence, which will remain, and the second sentence shall be parking of boats is not permitted on lawns and shall only be permitted on driveways, parens, paved or gravel, close parens, period.
That would do it. I
Chris
guess.
is saying no. What?
No,
Because I think the mayor's point was that it's not necessarily just the driveway. There are people who would have gravel on the side of their house that they might park the boat on.
Well, if that's the intent, then we can't limit it to just driveways.
But we weren't,
we were only limited to driveways when we were talking about the front of the house, but the side or the rear, that's a different story.
That's why I think the amendment that Hetty said, which is cannot be parked in the front yard with the exception of the driveway, covers it.
I think that's clear.
So then if you have a driveway that fits one car and then for 6 months it has a boat in it,
You can't have the car. Well, that's apparently okay. That's what people-
yeah, that concerns me.
Well, but the point is they still have to figure it out. I mean, it's still limited to whatever it is that they can work out on their property. If they can't park their car, they can't have a boat then.
Okay, let
Unless,
it be said.
unless they have gravel on the side that they can use to park the recreational vehicle. I mean, the boat, sorry. Don't
Or
get,
maybe they trade the boat for a car and trade the car for a boat. I don't
Maybe
know.
they'll get one that's interchangeable. It's
There
actually
you
a car
go.
that actually floats.
There are vehicles like that.
There are vehicles.
Yes, there
like
are.
that.
They do exist.
Yes, they do.
so it will,
As usual, I will just say in this discussion, as I have said before, I'm concerned about the quality of life for the neighbors. I understand that, of course, we do not want boats parked on a front lawn in any way. But I'm concerned about neighborhoods, and we already have parking issues in the borough. And if a boat is going to take up a driveway and then now a car has nowhere to go but the front, and then becomes, a habitual phone caller or overnight parker, I'm concerned about
can I just say,
where this leads.
Randy, can I just say that this ordinance that we're looking at right now is already in existence where
I know.
we permit boats to be parked in town. The only thing that we're doing is clarifying the conditions under which they can be, because it was too broad. It was
Correct.
not clear enough that it was limited to one and that it had to be on a paved surface and it had to be trailered. So we're trying
Right.
to qualify the conditions under which they're being allowed to do it. We're not giving any more permission than already existed.
No, I fully understand that, and I'm glad you explained that for the record. However, I look at this as an opportunity to have the discussion So thank you for giving me my few minutes on the subject.
And make another proposal for consideration. Keep the first sentence, and then thereafter, parking of boats is not permitted on lawns, comma, and must be upon a paved or gravel surface, period. Parking of boats in the front yard shall only be permitted on driveways.
I'd have to say, all right, say it again, Kevin. Because I'm not sure if the last sentence and the first sentence, the second and third sentence go together, or
Why is the one that we did, which is a little simpler, not okay? Boats shall be parked on a gravel or paved surface and cannot be parked in the front yard with the exception of the driveway.
that actually does take, I think that takes care of all those situations.
Okay, I think it's just a different way to skin the cat, so to speak. So
This is simpler and more direct.
I think it's clearer too.
Yours
I
is
do-
more legal, legalese.
I do though share Councilwoman Duffie's concerns about the unintended consequence of people not having a place to put their regular car and thereby parking on the street. I share that concern.
Well, we all have to make decisions and prioritize things in our lives.
Okay, so I would ask for someone to say the amendment one more time, and then I'll ask for an introduction of the ordinance as amended.
I can read it.
Please.
Be it further ordained that section 30-28.9D is hereby removed and replaced as follows. In areas set forth in paragraph A of this subsection, not more than one trailered boat, 18 feet in length or smaller, shall be parked at any time, except when garaged. Boats shall be parked on a gravel or paved surface and cannot be parked in the front yard with the exception of the driveway.
Okay, I would ask for a motion to introduce that ordinance as amended.
So moved.
May I get a second? Roll call, please.
Can I just ask, Ira, was that you who
Yes,
seconded?
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. Councilman Seymour,
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffie,
Yes.
Councilman Grotsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandhusen,
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing on this ordinance will be at our May 24th meeting. Last introduction would be 2021:11, and when the clerk gets a moment, I would ask her to please read the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 7 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of New Milford entitled Parking, thereby reestablishing subsection 7-3.8 entitled Parking Time Limited on Certain Streets.
Yes, this is limiting parking to 2 hours on the north side of Main Street between River Road and Summit. The police department had spoken to all the businesses on Main Street, and this is the area where most of the businesses are in agreement that there should be limited time. So customers can come in and out and frequent the location. So may I get a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
May I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilman Seymour,
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffie,
Yes.
Councilman Grotsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandhusen,
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Okay, public hearing on this ordinance will be at our May 24th meeting. Okay. Going to the list, item number 1 is DPW hire. Councilman Grotsky.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. We have a DPW employee who will be retiring at the end of August. Okay, it's the recommendation of our director and supervisor of the DPW that we replace that person sooner so they could be trained. We could get them in for the summer for mowing lawns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In actuality, the person who is leaving is at a high salary, a person coming in at a lower salary. In actuality, if we start this person June 1st, the borough will actually be saving approximately $3,300. Going into next year, that number will approximately be $35,000 because of the difference in salaries. So it's my recommendation that we give permission to the DPW to go hire and start searching for a new employee. So they have coverage for mowing lawns, getting this person trained, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I would agree with Councilman Grotsky that summertime is definitely a busy time. So it'd be nice to get someone in and up to speed and an easy transition.
Yes, the other thing I would like to add too is the person that's retiring has some time off that they'll be utilizing as well. So it would be helpful to have the extra manpower.
Do you have anybody in mind yet or not?
No, they just want authorization to start the process.
Looking.
Yes.
Will the new hire be a fireman?
Don't know.
Just saying.
I mean, it's going to be posted in the paper and people will have to apply for the position.
Okay.
So everybody's in agreement that we can say yes to allow them to start that process?
Yes, good idea.
Yes.
On the 2021 municipal budget, I put that on the agenda because at our last meeting, we postponed the matter until this meeting because we took some advice from our auditor that we might want to wait some time to see if we get some guidance from the state on how we can use the money that we're getting from the federal government, the aid money that we're going to be receiving. I would say that today the Department of Treasury released details on how the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds can be used. I had forwarded the information to the auditor and the CFO for their review, and the auditor advised that we are still waiting for guidance from the state. And shortly after this announcement, they sent out an invitation. The federal government sent out an invitation to attend a webinar for the ARP state and local program briefing. I signed on to it, but I have to say it was basically just a reiteration of the information that was in the email that had been sent out earlier in the day, which had a 150-page document about how the funds could be used, and then a fact sheet that was also part of it.
Okay, so then
we have not received enough guidance to make any informed decision at this point. So it would probably be best at this point to entertain a motion to postpone again to the meeting.
Yeah, I was going to ask for a motion to postpone the 2021 municipal budget until our May 24th meeting.
I'll make that motion to postpone
Second.
the adoption of the budget.
May I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Councilman Seymour,
Yes.
Councilwoman Duffie,
Yes.
Councilman Grotsky,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sandhusen,
Yes.
Council President Grant.
Yes.
Say it's, I can't believe the federal government doesn't care about our budget timeline and just give us this information quicker. So we can get this done.
Really? Exactly.
But we're getting money. That'll be nice.
Yes,
Yes,
certainly.
yes. Bring taxpayer money back home. Absolutely.
So for clarification, that's now going to be revisited and listed for 524.
Correct. So under schedule updates, the Memorial Day, May 31st, at 9 a.m., the New Milford Fire Department will be having their service in front of the Borough Hall at the Fire Department Monument. At 10 o'clock will be the Borough Memorial. It will be on the side lawn, as usual. I believe after that, there is something at the cemetery. I believe they'll be hanging flags at the cemetery. Councilwoman Siraki Hurley is not here to elaborate on that, but I believe there'll be something at around 11 o'clock at the cemetery. I will, go ahead, I'm sorry.
They usually she mentioned at our last meeting that they're doing something, I think, on the 28th.
Couple of days before, yeah.
So they're gonna put the flags out, but I believe they allow people to come into the ceremony for a tour after
On
that.
Memorial Day. Yeah.
Yes. That will be, Darlene will mention it at the Memorial Day service. She always mentions that after it, so people will know. On Friday at 10:30, I will be reading the Police Week proclamation and presenting it to the police chief at the police station. And Friday evening at 7:30 at the gazebo, I'll be doing a proclamation for Apraxia Awareness Month. That will be at 7:30 at the gazebo, so if anyone wants to attend, they are more than welcome, and I will light the gazebo blue in honor of that as well. That's the only events that I have. Are there any other events from any of your commissions or committees?
Wasn't the car wash, the 5th grade car wash postponed until next Saturday?
Yes, yes. That will be next Saturday at 10 o'clock.
Mayor, if I could just
Go ahead.
sorry, I just to interject, May 23rd, the morning will be the New Milford Municipal Alliance's annual wellness event, and it will be a borough hall.
When will that be?
May 20
Saturday.
I'm sorry,
Is that Saturday or Sunday?
May 23rd.
Okay.
That's a Sunday.
I think it's a Sunday. I'm checking.
What exactly is it that it entails, Matt?
I know it entails, they're gonna be doing yoga and other activities to promote overall wellness and health. Last year, it was a borough hall last year, and there was some discussion previously this year.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yes, thank you. It's back at the borough hall. But it's gonna be near the gazebo, not in front of the main building.
And what time?
It was put on by Stigma Free 2 years ago.
Yes.
What time is it, Matt?
I think it's a 10.
9 to 12.
It's 9. Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Okay, they also need to follow through with the waivers, I think. Is that correct, Kevin? You're on mute.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. That's required by the GIF.
Okay, I'll let them know. And I think we're reaching out to DPW to see if they have, or whoever, if we can get like 2 extra tables. So.
Any other events? Okay. Item number 4 is our COVID-19 task force report. Administrator?
Yes, the task force met on Thursday, April 29th with reports from the police department, fire department, OEM, ambulance corps, health department, administration, DPW recreation, the Board of Ed, and the mayor and council. Topics that were discussed included the vaccination site status, indoor, outdoor dining, the field lights and the times for those lights, upcoming spring and summer events, and our next meeting is scheduled for this Thursday, the 13th. We also met the new nurse for the Board of Ed at that meeting.
Okay. And that segues you right into the administrator's report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The master contract for the 2021 road program for the Riverside Co-op was awarded on April 14th to D&L Paving Contractors. And there's a resolution on tonight's agenda to award a subsidiary contract for the work in New Milford, and a pre-construction meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, the 18th. Our recreation director, John Heineman, had made a recommendation for an application for the DEP Urban Parks grant for a covered pavilion at Knights Field. Millennium Strategy spoke with the borough's representative at Green Acres regarding the feasibility of the project. And although it is something that would be eligible, the grant program is expected to be extremely competitive, and grants would likely go to much larger projects with the potential to impact a much larger population. For this reason, she did not think an application for a pavilion would score well. Catherine from Millennium suggested that this would make a very good application for Bergen County open space for the future. Just as by way of notification, in case any questions come up, we had an issue recently with a solicitor's permit that had been issued to representatives from SFE Energy. we had received several complaints from residents about representations being made that they were affiliated with public service. The complaints have been investigated, and the company and the individual representatives were put on notice to cease and desist from making those representations. I've been in touch with a legislative aide from District 38 who has been working with the DMV to schedule a mobile DMV event at the Borough Hall. We had it scheduled for last year, but unfortunately fell through because of the pandemic. They had asked us to provide some dates for the DMV's consideration, and we were looking at a date in May, August, or September. And even though the DMV had offered those dates, they came back and suggested that we do something in June. So as soon as I have a date confirmed, I will let everybody know.
Excellent.
New Jersey DOT local aid grants were recently announced, and the borough is eligible for the categories of municipal aid, bikeways, and safe streets to transit. We have a meeting scheduled tomorrow to discuss the potential application with Millennium Strategies. And the only other thing I have is that our next meeting is on, because Memorial Day cooperated this year and is actually on the 31st, we have our second meeting in May on a Monday, which is unusual, May 24th.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Resolutions. Has everyone had a chance to review the resolutions? Are there any that need to be pulled out for further discussion?
Will you remind the public what 145 is, 2021, 145, the Stop the Attack Local Taxpayers Act?
I can, yes. Okay. This has to do with the SALT, the deduction for state and local taxes, which has been a feature of the tax code for more than 100 years. The federal tax reform law passed in 2017 capped the deductibility of state and local taxes at $10,000, forcing double taxation for residents that pay in excess of that amount, as well as harm to states and communities that rely on tax payments that support public service and benefit all citizens. New Jersey 9th District Congressman Bill Pascrell has introduced H.R. 946, the Stop the Attack on Local Taxpayers Act, which eliminates the $10,000 cap on property tax deduction and retroactively removes the cap.
Thank you.
Everyone okay with that? Okay. Let's go around and see if anyone has any highlights that they'd like to bring up. We'll start with Councilman Seymour.
Thank you, Mayor. As I just mentioned, the Milford Municipal Alliance is Stigma-Free. You're going to be having this year's wellness campaign on Sunday, May 23rd at 9 a.m. in front of Borough Hall by the gazebo. The Board of Education has continued to work very hard along with our schools to move things back to as much as possible as things were before this pandemic. It's been quite a period of time now where the schools have been reopened and instruction is in person Monday through Friday at all our schools. And I just wanted to sort of point out there's something that, you know, Mayor, you always point out at the beginning of every meeting, which I think is very, very poignant, that no governing body can be all things to all people all the time. And for those out there watching our meeting who do not fully understand the effort that our Board of Education has been making, I just want to reassure residents. They're volunteers. They're residents just like all of us. They have families and they care as much as we do. They've done a tremendous job bringing us to where we are now, where the schools are reopened. And just want to encourage people to continue to be patient and supportive as they work as hard as they have been and continue to work as hard as they are to bring us back to what we would consider normalcy. And to bear in mind that literally we're all in this together and we all have to stay in this together if we're going to come out of this in the best possible situation. So I just want to encourage our residents to continue to be patient and understanding and supportive of our Board of Education, and also to thank those on our Board of Education for their tireless dedication. The meetings that I've sat in on as liaison, they run long hours, they run late. And the reason for that, candidly, is because they take every letter, every question, every concern very seriously. They address it, they're thorough, they're detail oriented, they cross their T's, they dot their I's, and they answer every single question. and they address every concern.
Thank you. Councilwoman Grant, Council President Grant, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I have been informed by the DPW that 3 more sculptures have been installed at the library, so only a few more to go. This is exciting
Excellent.
news. Thank you.
Councilman Grotsky.
Thank you, Mayor. Next week is National Public Works Week. So I'd like to give a shout out to our DPW staff. They're one of the best DPWs in the county. They're exceptional. I mean, beyond compare. Also last month, the borough was planting new trees. We planted 88 new trees in the borough right-of-ways. So if you drive all over town, you'll see in the right-of-ways several new trees. So that's a good thing. Thank you, Mayor.
Absolutely. Our DPW is fantastic.
It certainly is.
They do a great job.
Councilwoman Duffie.
Hey, Mayor. Happy Mother's Day to all of you that are. I just want to also thank Councilwoman Sandhusen for putting the word out about our beautification cleanup at the park at Holland Ave. We had a number of new faces come down and help us out. And it was a really successful morning to spend with residents and some young people putting in their community service time. So it was a nice day to commune with nature in the borough. So that's just my report tonight.
Well, if all you wanted were faces, I would have come down, but you also wanted backs, and that's another story.
Where were you? It was fun.
Did a beautiful job.
Yeah, thank you.
We all did. We all did.
Councilwoman Sandhusen.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple highlights. The first is that on Saturday, May 8th, I attended the ceremony hosted by Congressman Josh Gottheimer, recognizing Scouts in the 5th District who had achieved Scout Gold Award and the rank of Eagle Scout. And 2 New Milford residents were in attendance. Patrick Meager of New Milford Troop 291 was recognized, and Benjamin Zelasco of New Milford Troop 78 was also recognized. It was a Zoom meeting, also broadcast live on Facebook, and it was a very nice and positive event. I was glad I was able to attend, and I thank the Congressman for making the effort to recognize our up and coming youth leaders.
Yeah, we certainly congratulate them, and we thank all the Scouts for everything they do in town. Our Scouts are awesome too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then as a little Mother's Day aside, I have a little update about the killdeer bird. So I had a little adventure dueling a mama bird. So, so it was brought to my attention. Some citizens on the Facebook, the New Milford Moms and Women's Facebook group had brought it to attention, and some sorry, I'm looking for the right word. The citizens were very much concerned about the safety of this young family. And so we had, so they are currently on the 20-yard line. So with some horses protecting them, and with the help of the police department, the Bergen County Audubon Society, and John Heineman, it took quite a team of people to ensure that the birds are protected. So it is not an endangered bird, so it is okay. So we'll let nature be nature. And I believe that the bird is a sports fan because it is positioned perfectly to be able to watch the Little League games and the softball games without being in the line of play. So I believe it's a ball fan. So
excellent.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you for the update on that. Yes, we're glad that we are able to assist and protect the bird as best as possible.
a little Mother's Day fun story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Human interest story.
Yes.
The only thing I have is today we were all emailed. I think we were all emailed a petition from residents. I looked through it quickly. It has to do with opening of school in September. And I believe I speak for all of us when I say that we support the Board of Ed's efforts to open school full time in September. There was also mention of the Board of Health, and I just want to reiterate that the Board of Health, their policies are basically based upon executive order, New Jersey Department of Health guidelines, as well as the CDC. Our New Milford Library, which is quasi-autonomous, we have ongoing conversations with our library director and in communication with libraries all over the county. And we will continue to have those conversations about usage and opening and in-person and everything that they're doing. I know they're doing a fantastic job, curbside and all the online programs. Same goes for our senior center, ongoing conversations with that. As of April 24th, there was not one senior center in the county that was open in person. So that is going to be a little bit of a longer challenge for that, but we are on top of that as well. And I think that's it on the petition. I guess everyone should take the time to take a look at it. It did come late today. So like I said, I don't know if anyone saw it. And that's all I had going around the table. At this time, I would entertain a motion to open up to the public for all comment about New Milford.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we are open to the public. So if you have any questions or comments about anything borough related, now is your opportunity. We will give you 5 minutes as long as you give us your name and address.
No one has indicated that they wish to speak, Mayor.
Okay. Give it another second or so. Okay, well, at this time, being that there is no member of the public that wishes to make a comment at this time, I would ask for a motion to close to the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? May I get a motion to approve resolutions 2021:136 through 2021:146?
So moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Is there any other business before this council?
Motion
If not-
to adjourn.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. We hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And, we're all looking forward to the nice weather and all the spring events that are happening. Catch a softball game, catch a Little League game, try out the trails behind the swim club. There's a lot to do in Milford, so be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too, Michael.
Thank you. Good night, all.
Night,
Good night.
all.
All right.
Good night.
Good
all.
night.